Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
My name's Jonty.
Good evening, gentlemen. You missed your cue, Granville. It's not difficult.
I was just flicking over to the YouTube channel.
Okay, don't do that. Don't distract yourself. Welcome to another Scoutcast. Sorry for the late start. I've had a few technical issues because our hosts have been bringing servers down. That's very boring. We'll get off that subject and we'll get on to the matter of the Scoutcast. If you haven't listened or watched one of these before, Jonty, Granville and myself will be talking fancy football events of the week. We'll be looking at our own teams from game week 9. We'll be looking at the communities teams in Rough with the Smooth. We'll be tackling a load of community questions. We've got lots to tackle on Hazard, on Vardy, on Cedric Gate. Big issue in the fantasy football community, which has gone global, Jonty, hasn't it?
Yes, it has indeed. We'll come to that later. It's quite a remarkable.
Yeah, one of our posters, Fuzzy Warballs, has kind of poked the fire a bit, and lots of people have come out and had a go at him. We're gonna stick up for him in tonight's episode and talk about Cedric Gate and what's included. We'll look forward to the weekend as well, of course. All that to come. But first, Granville, do you want to lord it over me a bit more? I take it you do. Is it 67 points?
Is that how it was? What do you get? 40, 50?
40,
you make it to the 50s?
Yeah, thanks very much.
Oh, you got a lucky clean sheet, didn't you, last night in Butland? You see that? He could easily have got himself sent off.
Yes,
he just challenge it in the first half.
I know. Had he been sent off, imagine how bad I would have felt then. It was close. I was fearing retrospective action, actually. I was like, maybe he still could.
No, I don't think it was that bad, but it's just one of those that the rules are at the minute, the culture of football, anything studs up, look, they could be sending off. And he was tackling our other man as well, Ayew, so he could quite easily have got the ball and scored.
Well, I went into that game with Ayew and Gomez. I didn't expect to be cheering the clean sheet for Stoke, but after about half an hour, I thought it was pretty obvious that this is going to be. I've got more chance for a clean sheet than I have a goal here for Swansea. They were dreadful, weren't they?
Really bad, and it makes you wonder what's in store the next few weeks. Whether they should get rid of our Swansea players. I mean, I'm still hanging on to Ayew. I know you've got Ayew and Gomez. It's a difficult one, but with so what do you score? 50, 55 was it?
53 for the game week. You got 67, I believe. And Jonty, what did you pipe in with?
Got 64, but I took a hit like both of you as well. So. But yeah, still pretty happy with that.
I think most people ended up taking hits, didn't they? Because it was Aguero and someone else. Did you take a hit, Mark?
Yes, I did. I took a hit, and I took a hit for all-out attack. I took all Brighton out and put KDB in, and played my all-out attack. Wasn't really effective. I mean, my transfer that I may have done had I not done that was to probably get Yanmat in at the back. So I would have got some points had I done that. But then KDB got me an assist, and I've got him with the price rises. I wanted him, so
I've got to be critical over that move.
Well,
can I be critical? I mean, what you've done in effect, you've spent your all-out attack, and you've left yourself with the same problem as you would have had anyway, where you didn't have enough defenders. I presume that you played it because you had 3 defenders injured. I
had 3 defenders injured, so I was down to Richards and Zuma effectively. So what do I do there? Do I take Kolarov out? And by the way, he's now fit and playing tomorrow, so I'm fine for the weekend. So had I taken Kolarov out, I would have regretted that because he's back for the weekend. I know he's at Old Trafford, but even so,
he's also not guaranteed to start.
There's no way Clichy's going to. No way Clichy's going to come straight back into the team after being out.
It also looks like, the comments today from Pellegrini were suggesting that Clichy, he hopes Clichy should be back next week. Him and Clichy, Delph and Silva should be next week. I think Kolarov should be safe this weekend.
Yeah,
but still, Kolarov at Old Trafford.
Yeah, he's away.
It's not a great fixture, really.
No, but at least I've got someone playing, which is better than I had.
Well, you hope. I mean, you need to have 3. You need Zuma and Richards both to play. So you're probably going to swap one of those defenders.
No.
Still going to go with. What's wrong with you, Mark? This season?
I'll swap one of Gomez and Elphick out, won't I? And then
that's what you have to do. Yeah. But I'm just surprised you didn't do it last week. I know you wanted De Bruyne, but I don't think it was worth it. I don't think it was worth throwing away your all-out attack and leaving. Well, you didn't have.
I mean, what will I do without that incredibly valuable all-out attack chip now? I'm doomed, aren't I? Come off it. Who really is banking on that doing anything for them?
Well, you needed all your play. You needed to justify it, and you didn't. You had Hazard started on the bench. Mahrez started on the bench.
I really should have seen that coming. I can't understand why I didn't work out the last season's Player of the Year and the player that kept Chelsea in the title race all that time would be dropped to open the Villa. I really should have seen that coming, shouldn't I?
Well, you should have. You know, I mean, if you're going to be good at this game, you need to see things like that.
We'll talk about Hazard. We'll talk about Hazard.
Should we talk about Jonty's game week? Then?
Yeah, go on, have a go.
You go ahead, Jonty.
Yeah. Well, I'm another victim of the all-out attack. So I've played mine now, wasted mine, and so I'll never get that back.
Season over.
I mean, it's terrible. I was fully aware of what I was doing with the all-out attack. I was basically covering myself. I didn't fancy Richards playing. I didn't fancy him getting anything, and he didn't. I misjudged Darmian. I looked at Everton and Man U's track record, and Man U just haven't really done well away at Everton for a number of years. So I just thought I wasn't happy with that, and I was happier with Houlihan at Newcastle. He ended up not playing, but I was on paper. I think I was down to that choice. Do I play Houlihan at Newcastle, and obviously Newcastle dire form up until the weekend, and then or Darmian. So I mean I'm okay with that. But the other things I did is I got Pellerin captained in, so that didn't work out. But I did get Bellerin in, so that was the thing that was good, and it gave me a nice chance because everyone was taking the hits. It gave me a nice chance to refresh my defence a little bit, and I've got a defence I quite like now. So Darmian's getting some good fixtures coming up. Bellerin's great. Jack Butland's still racking up points.
So hold on, you took Kolarov out, didn't you, for Bellerin?
Yeah.
Well, that's brilliant because that means Kolarov's going to start.
Does that mean we'll come back and scoring? Yeah. So this is freed up the fantasy football scout community Kolarov owners.
Because you had him for 4 weeks, in which he never got a clean sheet.
Yeah, nothing.
Oh God, yeah. You're right, actually. He's now going to start scoring, isn't he?
Yeah. So he'll score at Old Trafford now.
But it was partly that, but it was partly obviously him not playing. But it was Clichy coming back. It's going to happen.
But you were short, weren't you? Because you'd had Kolarov and Ward both playing, and then you'd be down to Richard.
And the other thing, Ward is back training. He just wasn't ready for that week. So Ward is going to be an option either this weekend or the following weekend. So I didn't really feel, I felt, that was good because basically transfers for defenders are really boring, and I'd like not to do them. So I feel fairly comfortable with them now. I've got 3 I can play pretty much most weeks. If Johnny Evans can survive another week.
Well, there's always
that's the other thing actually. Evans wasn't certain to play, was he?
No.
You were going to be short anyway.
Well, that was why I played the all-out attack. I thought Evans would be unlikely, so that would essentially leave me with Bellerin, Darmian, who I didn't fancy, and Richards. Richards I thought was going to be 2 points guaranteed. So that was it. So I thought Darmian might come in, maybe chance it. But
So it's interesting that you both played your all-out attack to balance out not having enough defenders. Whereas, do you think the all-out attack should be used when you have better attackers? Do you think it should be? I mean, it has to go one way or the other. I think.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you play it when you think your attackers are better than your defenders, the odds on you getting that wrong are pretty high. Because don't forget, the player you're bringing in is your 5th midfielder or your 3rd striker. So normally that's a player in the mid-price range at best. It could be an AU.
Well, it depends who you've got, but the way. Obviously, if you need to play it, then you play it. But the way I thought, if I get a choice of playing it, the time when I will play it is when I can't decide who to bench at my front 8. That'll be the time when I think I will play it. I'll most likely play it.
And that's exactly what I manufactured, because I took all Brighton out and put KDB in, which meant that I didn't want to play. I wanted to. Joe had Houlihan, right? Jonty had Houlihan. I didn't have a budget midfielder. My
got Mahrez.
De Bruyne, AU, Hazard, Sanchez, and Mahrez. Well,
but Mahrez wasn't guaranteed to start, was he?
No. Well, I thought he was, but it turned out he didn't again. But I still would want to play those 5. So I put myself in a situation where I would want to play all my attacking players. Whereas Jonty went with Houlihan and he didn't start again. What are you going to do with Houlihan, Jonty? I mean, are you worried about it?
We possibly come to. I mean, I basically, as I said about my defence and players like Pella and Vardy and Payet and Sanchez and even Mata. I'm pretty happy with. But my two iffy ones are Houlihan and Gomez. So it's what I do with them. I've got something ridiculous in the bank, which I think we'll come to a bit later. But I've got 6.6 million in the bank. So I'm looking at replacing Gomez or Houlihan this week. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know at this stage. But yeah, I could quite feasibly put Houlihan up to De Bruyne if I wanted.
So Judge Granville, who did the best out of all us out attack there? Do you reckon out of us?
I think maybe you were more justified in playing it, but I don't think. Obviously, you didn't score as well. So
yeah, that makes me feel so much better, Granville.
Anyway,
same on you, John T.
Well, I mean, I got my all-out attack. I got 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, 4 goals, and an assist out of my all-out attack. So I think it's reasonable. I mean, you're never going to get everyone scoring.
You'd have had those anyway.
But you'd have had Darmian now. That's
I mean, I've had Darmian. Yeah.
Let's hear it then, Chauncey. What are you going to rate your all-out attack then? What's your rating? 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10?
I'm not going to give it my usual 9 or 10 out of 10. I'm going to own up here, and I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because I've got Bellerin in. But the reason I give it 6 out of 10 is because Darmian got 6 points on my bench. Right. So it seems fitting that it gets a 6 out. Now
we've got to rate all our chips from now on. Every time.
Yeah. A bit of humility there from John T. Anyway, talking of humility, can we talk about my team now?
Oh, I thought we'd done you already.
Well, we haven't done it properly because I'm the one who's boss at the minute.
Go on, let's do it properly then.
What did I do? I got Pellerin and I captain in. I think back now that maybe it was Maybe I was a bit quick to captain him. The thing is, I bought him and I just put the captain on him and didn't think about it after that. I think probably maybe I shouldn't have even got him, but there you go. But I got Van Dijk as well, and he actually repaid the 4-point hit. On the site, many people are talking about getting Bertrand, but he'd only just come back, and he doesn't get that many goals. And I just thought the two centre backs and what people were saying about the Leicester defence and giving away chances from set pieces. I thought there was every chance that he could get into the action.
Well, Johnson was on to that like a shot last week. You weren't around for that, but it proved to be the case, didn't it?
Yeah, well, with Southampton's the Southampton-Leicester game, the way it panned out. Yeah, it was exactly. We knew it would be that. Leicester were terrible at conceding crosses. They're terrible at conceding headed shots in the goal. Southampton are fantastic at headed goal attempts with Pella being the main man. And we discussed this earlier, but basically it did go to plan, except the key bit for us Pella owners in the centre backs. Got there and got those headed goals in that Pella, on paper would have been getting. So I feel quite pleased that it went that way, but obviously not pleased about Pella. But I think Van Dijk is a great. He does have attacking intent. He's a great. I wouldn't say you never know how it's going to turn out with season keeper, but he is a good player to have in the long term, definitely.
Any more gloating to be done?
You'd be copying there at some point. And the other one was I got a little bit of criticism about getting Ayoze Perez in last week. And it was just basically the fixtures. It wasn't really for the City game. I mean, unfortunately, he had to play for the City game because Mahrez didn't play. But I got him in for this run of fixtures. This run of fixtures, I mean, they've got the best fixtures out of anyone. I know it's Newcastle, but I did say a couple of weeks ago when they played Chelsea, I thought they'd turn the corner then. And I know they played City and they played well in the first half and gave it away in the second half and were terrible. But I just felt that there was more to come from Newcastle, and they showed it against Norwich. What a way to get your first victory, eh?
Yeah, no, well done on Ayoze Perez. I mean, great shout. But you don't have Vardy up front. We'll get on to Vardy later on and get your views on that in a bit. So if you've now finished gloating about your game week, Granville, we'll move on to the community.
Oh,
you haven't. You've got more to do. Okay, go on.
What else could I say? You still haven't got Payet in.
No.
What are you going to do? Are you going to continue ignoring him like I'm ignoring Vardy?
Yeah, and I think it's going to cost you more than it's going to cost me. Should we leave it at that? I'm not worried.
I think it's going to cost both of you.
I mean, I'd like Payet, but I mean, Ayew's going to have to go for me Gomez will go first probably. I'll keep IA for a bit longer. I might get Payet, but to be honest, I don't know what I've got to gain by getting him because he's owned by so many people now. I might be best using that slot for a differential.
It sounds like your Ramsey of this year. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think his fixtures are tough. I mean, the Palace away game is the easiest one he's got.
He loves the tough fixtures. It's like Lukaku, we did say.
Yeah, West Ham can't, unless West Ham are going to come in the top 4, they're not going to keep it up, are they? So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm happy at the moment not having him. I'd like to have him, but I don't know. The only one I'd swap out from my midfield would be Ayew. I mean, I'm not going. I mean, Hazard's going to go for probably a more expensive player than Payet if I get rid of him. But we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, it's a mistake not having him. But do I gain anything by jumping on the bandwagon now? I think Vardy's different because he's cheaper and his bandwagon's faster and he's scoring every week without fail. And Payet's not doing that. Not quite. Anyway. But we'll get on to Vardy later. Should we do rough or the smooth, John?
Yeah. Yes. Let's go for some rough ones first to make you feel better. So here's one. Early transfer victims. So remember way back, game week 8, game week 9, we had an international break, and Aguero scored lots of goals. So Duzra, he transferred in Aguero after his 5 goals and before his injury. So then he took an 8-point hit to rectify that blunder, which involved drafting out Sterling and somehow keeping Aguero. So he managed to miss 8 goals. And he was on a wild card then as well. So I've written in the notes. It's just taking knee-jerking to magnificent new levels that have never been seen.
I can see his logic there. What he was doing is playing his wild card to try and get a decent side whilst keeping Aguero after he was fit. Because most people, if they lose Aguero, haven't got a team to absorb that. He's really unlucky with Sterling, though, isn't he? I mean, I suppose you could have seen that Sterling may change his role as a result.
Yeah, as soon as Aguero was injured, I immediately thought, oh well, immediately that elevates all the other Man City attackers, Boney, Sterling, and then during the week, Bonnie was coming out with all this about how he's been really working well with Sterling in training, and he's been saying. Yeah, he's been.
I wish I'd heard that.
All of these kind of things, and I didn't see it until after I made my Pella transfer. But yeah, so they've clearly been working very hard to get it, and it showed. So they're working well. So
it's interesting because in Rate My Team we updated that on Thursday before the captain article. And Sterling, I think you look back at the Captain Sensible article, he's 4th, I think, in that. And I looked at that and went, oh, that's very high for Sterling. But obviously the model was looking at the fact that if you take Aguero out. And you take Silva out, the goals have got to go somewhere, and the model was predicting a good win for City against Bournemouth, and was distributing the points to Bonnie and Sterling, and that's exactly as it turned out. KDB was top, Bonnie was 3rd, and Sterling was 4th in the over the league. So it basically almost nailed it.
I would have never considered ever getting Sterling after the. He still hasn't really convinced enough for me. I know he was there at the right time. He scored a nice 2nd goal, but still. You do see hat-tricks come out of the blue from players, and I do actually think this is one. The fourth Man City goal was particularly funny. I thought Jesus Navas seemed incapable of scoring it and just dribbling it around the whole pitch. And then Sterling just said, "I'll have that," and this is how it's done. And I thought that was quite nice. It did show that Sterling is a proper striker. Navas certainly isn't. But alongside Duzra, we all have legs, and Billy Gilmore both also transferred out Sterling for his hat trick. So that's good. So that's.
I mean, the players they got in, Mane and KDB, I think. I mean, at least you get those 2 players.
Logic.
Yeah, exactly. It's just very unlucky. Who saw that coming? Who saw the Wijnaldum 4 goals coming?
Well,
there were some who did.
Well, let's have a look in some smooths here. So let's go for this guy, Eddie Kuklichi, who got the highest game week rank after accidentally triple captaining Wijnaldum. He captained Sturridge and he had his vice captain.
Really?
Arsenal man.
Really? I never thought.
How did he have that set up?
Imagine that. So, actually, it doesn't seem that implausible because sometimes you put your vice captain on a bit of a pump, maybe.
Yeah.
But the Sturridge wasn't. There was rumours that he wasn't going to start, but he probably just thought, well, that's fine. But so he moved up from 850,000 to 17,000. Isn't that incredible? I mean, it's such a huge move. Some other smooth operators. Teddy took an 8-point hit, and he got Bellerin and Van Dijk in. So we got mine and Granville's lads in. Captain Sturridge's no-show meant that captain moved to Sanchez, and then Darmian came in. So it's very applicable to our team.
Fluky bench move.
And last one, Lee Smooth. We don't want to hear too many of these nice stories, but
certainly not.
Hasselbank forever. He changed his entire strike force. Out went Diouf, Gomez, and Aguero, and in came Costa, Vardy, and Pella.
You can't go wrong, can you?
Yeah. 2 points for 27 points. There we go.
Great move. Yeah, I got email from someone saying they make a 20-point hit and they turned around a 7-point profit from that. It happens. I mean, this was a game week where I guess you could do that because there are a lot of people taking hits, so you could go a bit crazy with it. We did talk about it last week, Jonty, that why not take an 8 or 12-point hit, because most people are going to take at least 4. So it was some great moves out there. So fair play to those people, and unlucky Dozer. I think Dozer got punished. He made a couple of mistakes which in other weeks you could have got away with.
He sought to rectify. I mean, what he should have done is a kind of step away from the computer moment. He should have just kind of left it, and hopefully he'll just.
He'd be really annoyed though. You're on your wild card, getting rid of Aguero, and then he goes and scores 5 goals. I mean, he's unlucky in that respect, but I don't think he's that unlucky. The knee jerk. I mean, you just don't do it, do you?
No.
You try. That's it. Even maybe he had a bit to, too many glasses of the old claret.
Too much of the claret.
There's something.
Cedric Gate. Let's get on to community questions, Jonty. Explain what Cedric Gate is about.
Right. Well, this is something that Doosan Citizen and Red Lightning have asked us about. They want our opinion on it. So, Cedric Gate is this. Cedric Suarez, the Southampton defender, was substituted at the 60th minute, or was he? It was the 59th minute or the 60th minute. According to Opta, it was the 60th minute. According to Fantasy Premier League, it was the 59th minute. I think it was something like 59 minutes 38. Or something like that. So one of our community regulars, Fuzzy Warbles, decided to write to FPL about this, wondering about the consistency of it. He felt that he'd been unfairly rounded down, and he wanted those clean sheet points. And it was around about 800 words he wrote. So he really took that. But this is the dedication of a fantasy football manager. But he was not prepared for the onslaught that followed. He basically got a mauling in the Irish press, the Irish Journal, which then got picked up by Yahoo, so then went global there, and then went picked up by the Metro in the UK. So some of the things they were saying, Neil Treacy of the Irish Journal, when all he received, when all Fuzzy Warbles received was an automated reply from the league, he wasn't happy. Did he expect a handwritten letter from Richard Scudamore?
Did he?
And then he says, just imagine being this detached from reality. This is outrageous stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it went on over to Twitter as well. One guy said to him on Twitter, people like you are the reason Jesus doesn't come back. So Fuzzy replied with that, Jesus Navas, you mean? I'm sure City fans would be fine with that. So
he did well there. I mean, I've got to say that the article in the Irish Journal, which was replicated in Yahoo, it was, it was a bit kind of like, well, it was getting at the fact that he could not believe that anyone would take fantasy football this seriously. I mean, Fuzzy's email was extraordinary. It was a piece of work, and he definitely, obviously, pulled out the stops, and people were quite amused that he'd gone to that length on our site. But even so, you've got to admire he wanted an answer, and I think, to be honest, it is an interesting area in that. What they've done is they round down that you have to have played 60 minutes rather than under 60 minutes, and then obviously they round up from there, it seems. I wasn't sure on that. I wanted to know what the answer was. I mean, the tone of the article that was written on Yahoo is a bit scathing towards people who take fantasy football seriously.
Did you feel that then? Did you feel that it attacked you personally?
Yeah, well, no, I think also the fact that it shouldn't come as a surprise that fantasy football is taken seriously when you consider the millions of dollars that are at stake over in America, and the fact that there's up to £1 million on offer in the Sun game, and there also Yahoo would probably like to have a community as active and as enthusiastic as ours on their football site. They don't have a community like ours. talking about their football stories. So maybe if they took fantasy football more seriously, they might have. So there you go. I mean, I think Fuzzy, you know, went over the ball perhaps in many people's eyes, but I think fair play to him. I think what he was trying to do is go, this is how passionate I feel about it. I deserve an answer, and you know, he didn't get an automated response. He got a hand. It was a personal response, so that was factually incorrect as well. It wasn't. There's no automated response that comes back with the response that he got. That was written by someone at FBL Towers. I think it is an interesting subject. I think we wanted to know what the answer was, and I've got to doff my cap to Fuzzy for taking it to those lengths. It was a piece of work, and you know, fair play to him. We all take fantasy football seriously here. That's what we're about.
Yeah. Good.
Well, good defence of the fancy football community.
Well, it needs it, doesn't it? I mean, I don't like people who go, "Oh, I play fantasy football," but I find it ridiculous that anyone takes it seriously. Well, there are thousands and thousands who do. We can testify to that. So.
Yeah. So
well said.
Yeah, good on Fuzzy there. So good to stick up for him. You know. So yeah, they've got a whole bunch of other questions. Moving on from Cedric Gate, got some questions about some strikers. So let's start with Vardy. So someone that Granville hasn't got. So
yeah, you'll love this, Granville.
Pochettino asks, is Vardy big enough to be a second striker? Well, big enough to be a top striker.
What's he mean by that? What, height-wise?
I don't know. Meinhof, do I absolutely positively need to bring in Vardy? Arsene Javalicious said, is Vardy this season's Austin or Kane? And is he now a captaincy candidate? Well, yes. So, I mean, I've have a look at some stats. Last 4 game weeks.
When it says he's a captaincy candidate, would you captain him?
Yeah.
I think it's getting
let's see that happen then. If you captain him, then he's a captaincy candidate for anyone. That's the way I look at it.
I tell you what,
I think you're the measure.
I genuinely think. I mean, it's 50-50 at the moment between Vardy and Sanchez, and I'm looking at the opposition. I'm just not sure how Everton are going to be, but it's between those two definitely. I think Vardy has the form and the fixture, as does Sanchez, but I think marginally Vardy's got stronger form. Well, let's have a look at some of the stats. Last 4 game weeks, he had 25 goal attempts. I mean, the next nearest is Coutinho with 21. I mean,
and 20 of those are outside the box.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's not scoring, but yeah, shots inside the box, 22 he's had there. No one's comes near to that. I think the next
chance is 6 as well. I mean, and the thing is, you said when you signed him, he showed that performance against Arsenal, wasn't he?
I couldn't believe what I was watching, and he was so good that I signed him there and then. You know, it was like and he was big chances. He's riding high. He's riding high in all the charts over the last 4 game weeks. Shots on target, and he's doing it every week.
What I don't understand is you can't put your finger on it, because he's doing what Kane was doing last year, and then a chance comes, bang, back of the net. And Kane this year, he's getting chances with not quite as much as regular, but it's just not happening for him. Vardy, who last year, I looked at Vardy last year and thought, well, he's got pace, but he's not. He doesn't look like he's got a composure, to finish opportunities. He got a couple of goals, and I thought, oh, we've shown it there. He was a goal scorer for Leicester in previous seasons, and even was in non-league. And I know that West Brom, Tony Pulis was trying to sign him, and I thought, oh, there must be something in Vardy that I haven't seen. And we're seeing it this year. I mean, everything he touches, back of the net. And you're right. I think against Palace, you back him to score, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely 50-50 between him and Sanchez. I don't know which way I'm going to go. I've got to do a bit more research on Everton and Palace's defence. But yeah, Vardy's definitely in the hot seat there. So yeah, another striker, Tony Marshall.
Yeah, let's get Granville on this one. Come on.
So yeah, Granville's favourite.
I'm ready for this one. Come on.
Dude simply asked, was the Marshall bandwagon folly? So Granville, were you being?
Granville, just remind you.
Not at all. He looks really, really dangerous.
Hold on, you said 3 weeks ago you'd all want him.
You will want him eventually. What happened last week? I didn't expect him to shove out to the wing. I believe it was to mark Coleman. He shouldn't have to mark Zabaleta next week. I don't think he's nearly as attacking. I think he's going to play down the centre again. I hope so, because if he doesn't, then there's probably not a great. I don't know. I mean, at that price is pretty good, but there are better options, I would have thought.
The thing is, you've got him over Vardy, haven't you? So, and you by the time you get Vardy, he'll cost you the same as Martial, I think. So, do you think that we're going to
Martial's 8.3 and Vardy's 6.9.
6.9 and rising every week.
Well,
week.
Sorry, Martial's 8.4. So no, don't be ridiculous. That's not going to happen.
You don't think Vardy will get to 8 million at some point?
Well, if you extrapolate the amount of goals he's scored now and say he's going to do that every single week, then maybe.
Well, he's done it for the last 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to keep that going, but at the moment, if I had a choice between Martial and Vardy, I know where I'd go. Because
what about Vardy or Pella? Because that would be the thing is about
Pella's a better comparison.
Fixtures at after next week.
Whose fixtures?
Have you seen United's fixtures? Palace, West Brom, Watford, and Leicester.
Yeah.
So they've got good fixtures, and I don't think he's not going to get dropped, is he? Because unless Wilson, then they don't really have anyone else. And
they're not going to drop him, but I think looking at it, he's having a shot every 54 minutes. So in 4 appearances, he's had 7 shots.
Right.
And he has scored with. What's he scored? He scored 2 of those in the last 4 game weeks. Let's have a look. That was the last 4 game weeks. Let's have a look at his all matches so far this season. So he's had 5 appearances, 3 goals, 8 shots. So he's converted, 37% of his shots. But he's never going to keep that up. But in the meantime, he's not getting opportunities. So I don't know. I think that it's going to be a while before Martial becomes a bandwagon again. I just think Vardy's rolling, and the Martial one, I think we'll see sales. I don't know what the latest figures are, but I would have thought people will start moving away from him.
Yeah, they might do. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, they are still playing at home against City. I know it's obviously not an easy game, but there could be goals in the game. It's just I just wouldn't want to get rid of him with that list of fixtures.
Well, this is exactly though. I remember saying this is exactly the problem with getting him when you did, because now. Because he's a Man United striker at 8.3, when's going to be the good time to get rid of him?
I got him when he scored his goal, so how can you say that?
You what, sorry?
I got him when he scored his goals, not after he scored his goals.
No, but when you said that you and Jonty would want to get him, my point was, well, if we get him now, I don't think he's going to score in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, listen, he could have scored.
And then you'll never want to get rid, because he'll always be Man United.
Made a good save. These things change very quickly. All he has to do is just get 1 goal, and then he's not going to get sold again, is he? So it's just the way it goes. I mean, did you expect Sterling to score 3 at the weekend after being rubbish in front of goal all season? No. No, but I'm looking at the data and going, he's had 8 shots in 5 games, and thinking, well, if that carries on the way it is, he's not going to score regularly enough to warrant a place in our teams. And what the problem is you've got to have the balls to say, I'm going to sell a Man United striker this week, which is never going to be an easy one to make. Because I don't think he's going to get dropped. I just think he's going to go on getting a goal every 3 or 4 matches. If that appears to be, that could be the case. That's the
I think
his fixtures are changing. He had three tough fixtures in a row, Arsenal, Everton, and now he's got City.
Yeah.
So he's got tough fixtures, yeah. But once you got him, you can't get rid of him.
Exactly. That's it. So now you've got to hope he becomes prolific again.
Well, yeah, of course.
Well,
but you're
with 8 shots in 5 games, he ain't going to do it, is he? That's my point. So we'll see.
I just understand that, but you're saying that Vardy's going to continue this on for the rest of the season. That's what, or for the.
No, I'm saying that Vardy's he's had 25 shots in 6 matches? Is it 5 matches?
4 matches.
4 matches. So. The difference is huge in terms of the opportunities the strikers are getting. Martial's probably a better finisher, but I don't know. I think it's a problem, because I think if he's going to... Because Rooney could start playing with Herrera behind him, and then Martial's going to be tucked out in the wing again. I think he's going to rotate all the time now with Depay and Martial, Rooney, and play Herrera behind him. He's got to drop... Mata went off at half-time. I think he doesn't know his best team still, so... I don't know. I think he could be an issue for people who own Martial.
Well, he could be, but if he scores next week, then he's not an issue again.
I think he'll do. I mean, as Grant was saying about the fixtures, you look at those fixtures, it's difficult to get rid of him. But I always think, in terms of my decisions about dropping a player, it's are they not performing in the easy fixtures?
Yeah.
And for Martial to do not to do much in the last couple of games, I wouldn't worry too much. I've got Mata, and he hasn't done much in the last 2 games. I'm not really that bothered. I'd like to see him for a couple of that good run, game week 11, 12, 13. You know, and if he's not performing then I'll get rid. Which brings us on to another striker, Gomez.
Well, that's an easy one.
it wasn't, and it wasn't because he had good fixtures for the first 4 game weeks, and then the fixtures were a little tougher, and he wasn't scoring. So home at Stoke, that was a test for me. The Gomez owner, that was a test. Right, let's see what you can do. And the answer was absolutely nothing, and the same with Swansea. So in complete contrast to Marshall, for me, is Super Zlatan asks, is Gomez worth keeping 1 more week? Well, no, he's on my hit list to go. It's either him or Houlihan.
But that's the difference between having a Swansea striker in mid-price and having a Man United one, in that it's like the Giroud thing. Whenever anyone signs Giroud and he goes through a lean spell, you go, well, I should get rid of him because he's in bad form. But Arsenal have got, Arsenal can score against anyone, and United can as well. Whereas Swansea at the moment, the way they played last night, it's too easy to go, well, I'll get rid of Gomez. It's not really a gamble. I mean, I'd even think about getting rid of him away to Villa, because Swansea just looked so dreadful. So it's a much easier decision to get rid of Gomez. And I think of the two, if you had Gomez and Ayew, what idiot would do that? I would say Gomez is the one, because I don't even think he's going to start at Villa.
No, I don't think he will either.
You don't think? Who would play?
Eder. Yeah.
Striker on his own.
Yeah. He was that dreadful. I don't know.
He did actually look all right when he came on. He looked like
Eder's not too bad.
But not starting with Key. I mean, I don't know whether Key. I think he was away on the international duty.
Yeah, I think there was international problems there.
Well, that was silly. That was silly, really. I think he should really have started. And probably Sigurdsson as well. No, I didn't really understand his starting lineup, and they were just still poor. But everyone was poor. Montero was particularly poor. He didn't do anything at all. So there was no service to Gomez. Gomez had it. He was trying too hard.
And speaking of players we want to get rid of, Eden Hazard. So it's one of Mark's ones here. Jigger and Pony asks, what's the sensible thing to do? Sell, bench, or play? And Bobby Baggio says, should we be selling Hazard? So, I mean, over to you, Mark, as a Hazard owner.
I don't know how it's going to go against West Ham. I would say, I don't know what Mourinho's up to, because I find it hard to believe that he feels he can go without Hazard against West Ham. I think he looked at the Villa game and goes, I can make an example of him here. I can drop him and try and give him a kick up the arse, and I can still beat Villa if I do that. Going to West Ham, I don't know if he does. Mourinho feel he can go to West Ham and win without Hazard?
Well,
it's difficult.
He loves William and Pedro, so he absolutely adores them because of their hard work. Pedro had a slight injury tonight, so I mean, I think he could feasibly go without Hazard again. I wouldn't say Hazard safe. I think he played Hazard tonight because he had to. Then tonight, I mean,
I think you could be right, but I mean, I don't doubt that he could leave Hazard on the bench at West Ham. I'm just saying, is that the right thing to do? Because I watched the game against Villa, and they were far from convincing. I mean, it was a ridiculous error by Gherzan for the first goal, and then a bizarre own goal for the second, and Chelsea weren't really convincing. So. No. At West Ham, I think Chelsea are going to need to score at least 2 to beat West Ham, aren't they? So
yeah,
you were right about Zuma actually the other week. So maybe about him coming back because Chelsea couldn't defend without him. I think you might be right. I think he probably will come back. But it's nice that you have doubts in your mind. That's how we want it.
I think there's an element that he's been scapegoated.
Massively! I don't get it.
Because I mean, you could level that. I mean, for some reason, if it's taken Ivanovic an injury to not be played, I mean, it's stark contrast between Mourinho and Van Gaal here is the way that they make their substitutions. So Darmian gets substituted in game week 8 for Man U because Tadic is giving him the runaround. Mata comes off because it's not working out against Everton. And what happens with Ivanovic is basically run ragged. He's had basically children dancing around him, laughing at him.
Well, this is it, right? So he criticises Hazard for not putting in a defensive shift.
Yeah.
and he's their most creative player. What about Vanovic, who hasn't put a defensive shift in all season, and he's their right back?
It's very arbitrary the way that Mourinho's doing it, which is controversial. Say perhaps he isn't a good manager, because I think that's quite poor management. But maybe, obviously he knows Hazard better.
Maybe.
Oh, you'll see. He'll come out next game, score a hat trick. You go.
Maybe it's an advanced form of management that we can't even.
Yeah, I mean,
we're on a different level.
Yeah, he wants a reaction out of him, and he'll probably get one. Do you remember a couple of seasons ago when he dropped it? Was it last season? It was last season, I think, when he dropped him for. No, it was his first season back when he dropped him. Was it for a European game? It was something to do with he didn't come back from international duty. I think he overstayed
a day late,
for a day late, and he dropped him to make an example. And he had a great season. So I think that's what he's trying to get something. He's trying to get something out of his team, because he hasn't really been performing all season.
We'll see.
Moving on to Liverpool. So Liverpool got a new manager. Talking about man management, they've got a manager who likes to crack the whip a bit. Now, I don't know if you saw the game, but Milner and is going to end up looking like the Incredible Hulk by the end of the season. Carries on like that. Liverpool.
He covered a few blades of grass, didn't he?
What's he call it? Gegen pressing. Which basically means just run yourself until you die. So basically, they did a number on Spurs. I believe this was the first time that Spurs have been outrun this season. So this is the way they're going. There's different ways of looking at this. They could completely annihilate teams, or they could just completely knacker themselves and everyone else out. So Sailboats asks, should we be thinking about Alberto Moreno?
Yes.
So looking at defence there, possibly, yeah, if they're going to carry on like they did with Spurs. And Johnny Ten asks, with Klopp playing a pressing game, is it sensible or foolish to draft in a Liverpool player?
Well, I'm the expert on defences at the moment, given that I've got at least two players who are fit in my back four. I think Moreno is a good bet. I mean, he's good, and the thing is, he's assured of a start, because they haven't got, unless he resurrects Enrique, he hasn't got anyone who can play left back. No. So he's got to play him, hasn't he? The only risk with him is does he play him in Europa League matches as well? So it'll be interesting to see if Moreno plays on Thursday.
I think Liverpool have they have mixed fixtures as well. I know they've got.
Oh yeah.
I mean they've got Chelsea and City, haven't they?
We've got time to see. I mean, I wonder how Sturridge. I mean, Sturridge is made of glass and paper mache. How is he going to fit in with a system whereby you basically expected to be a superhero? And Benteke as well. I mean, he's not known for his all-action box-to-box play, really. I mean, he's known for his penalty box play.
I don't know about Benteke, whether he'll fit in.
I don't know whether
he'll fit in with Liverpool at all. I don't know. We'll have to see. But at the minute, he's not available. So Origi, well, I didn't see the game, but did Origi? I mean, was Origi all over the place? Was he putting in a shift?
Yeah,
could he come over to?
They all put in a shift. They would. Yeah, I mean, they put so much of a shift that they just couldn't do anything for the last. Yeah. No one could. Spurs players couldn't.
So I've got Coutinho, and I've had him for a few weeks now. He started off well for me, but last 3 games he's blanked. So he has the shots. It's just converting those shots. I just want to see him, and he does get into the box. I just want to see a little bit more. I mean, Liverpool just have been short of goals all season. And I'm not sure. With changing the system and doing what they're doing, is that really going to bring him any more chances, mate?
I think we've got to give it time. I think Moreno is one. He's worth having because of he's 4'7" and he'll play so attacking. You'd think that he took direct free kicks at White Hart Lane. So I don't know. I think he's worth it. 4'7's a good option, I think, because I think Klopp's side will keep clean sheets against the weaker teams because they'll restrict them so much.
I also think, Skirtle is an option as well. David D has just made a comment on our YouTube channel, pointing out that Skirtle got the three bonus points against Spurs. Yeah. So you can't rule Skirtle out either.
I know, but if you're looking at their centre backs, I mean, Lovren is probably the one that Klopp would prefer because he's a ball playing centre back. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people before the match on Saturday were saying Skirtle could be at risk for starts long term because he's not a ball playing centre back, and Klopp does like them. So then neither is Sacco, I guess. But it's. Yeah. I don't know. I think we have to wait and see until Klopp's got his full strength side, and then I think it's going to take a month before we can be confident.
Yeah. I'm sitting on Coutinho. It's a difficult one. It's difficult. I mean, he'd be the one to go. I think if I was going to go, if I was going to get De Bruyne.
I think, I mean, as you said about Liverpool's fixtures are pretty poor, but I mean, looking at other fixtures, Everton's start to change in game week 11, and so we've got a few questions about this the big fixtures shift, which is particularly Everton and Manchester United.
Let me get the ticker up and have a look.
Yeah, very good. So while you're having a look at that, I'll read out some of the questions. We've got Prophet asks, what players are we considering for the game week 11 fixture shift? Tizza asks, what to do with the Aguero millions if we still have it. So I've got my Aguero millions. So yes, I am starting to look ahead a bit, game week 11. Hasselbank forever. Which defenders would you recommend over the next few weeks? And Beza asks particularly about Everton. Where's best to go there for defence, attack, and midfield there? So I would say, I mean, let's start on Everton. I mean, let's have a look at their fixtures. Game week 11: Sunderland at home, West Ham away, Villa at home, Bournemouth away, Palace at home. It's pretty good. That's a pretty good lot. So I imagine you'd be in agreement that Lukaku is obviously the best striker option there.
We're asking for pain, aren't we, if we go Lukaku? But yeah,
and Barkley the best midfield option.
And the trouble, we've said it time and time again, that Lukaku's problem is the easy games. Then, you know, if he's playing Chelsea and scoring a hat trick, he's going to then blank when he's playing Sunderland. You just have to expect that with him. I would, you know, I'd still consider him, definitely. I mean, he's quite cheap as well, isn't he? 8.4. Yeah. So he's at mid-price, you know, similar to Pele and Martial. He'd be a good option if you want to go a bit cheaper up front. There's Naismith, but you're going to get, you know, that he's going to get taken. He'll be the first one to get taken off in a game.
Yeah, if you've got like the likes of Vardy pummeling goals every week, you know, Naismith's not going to get a look at.
Yeah, this is the third striker, you know, for the
but also the new card. I mean, your man Perez and Mitrovic, you know, they all look better prospects.
Well, they certainly are. They've got the same kind of fixtures.
I think the place to look is defence. That's a bit more interesting. I think there's be a little bit more choice there. I just looked at the bonus point system scores so far, and Jagielka's top there by quite some distance, 183. He's accrued there, so that shows that in the clean sheet type of games, this is where he's going to be.
He's cheaper. He's been the only regular though, hasn't he? Because Galloway, Coleman, Stones have all been out, and who's been playing?
Browning we've had as well coming in.
Oh yeah. That's right. Browning.
I mean, Coleman to me is not looking like he was a couple of seasons ago. I think Stones is a very good option, as you point out. He has been injured, so it'd be interesting to see how he does there. But yeah, I think until Baines is back, and even then he's very expensive still, 6.2. I think. Yeah, Jagielka and Stones at the moment. I think most people who get one of those will be fine. I don't think
Goldman, 5.9.
Yeah, I think Coleman, because it's Sunderland and Villa at home, that's good enough where you could gamble on an Everton defender. I think because you're going to get attacking returns maybe out of Coleman.
Maybe I think there's better attacking returns from other teams.
Well, we just haven't seen anything from Coleman yet this season because he got injured. About 5 weeks in or something. He hadn't played. He missed about 4 games, I think. So,
but go on. I was just going to. Yeah, I mean, we just don't know with Coleman. But I mean, there's other teams. Well, Manchester United. Now we mentioned them. You know, they got Palace, West Brom, Watford, Leicester, West Ham. I mean, that's a great.
And Bournemouth.
And then Bournemouth, yeah. So you've got Marshall in. I've got Mata. I mean, I kind of got him in. You missed it last week, Granville. I got him in thanks to Daniel. Who pointed out that Pedro was likely to be dropped at 11:30. I acted on that and did a bit of a panic buy long term and got Mata in. So I think getting him. I'm starting to look at Rooney now. I mean, he's starting to. I wouldn't say pull up trees, but he's starting to show a bit of form. He's had such an ego trip the last couple of months. You know, with his England records, his BBC documentary about him, and that's what strikers like. They're confidence people, aren't they? So people tell you you're wonderful all the time.
But he's got Colleen is heavily pregnant, so he's not getting much sleep at the moment. So I'd think about it.
Okay.
Just if Yahoo are listening, that's how serious I take things.
Yeah.
I think at the minute we're flush for cash. He could, if you fancy it, it could be good differential, and he'll be. Will he be taking? Will he be on penalties?
Matter's still on penalties, but if Matter's on the pitch.
Yeah.
You see,
that's the thing.
I mean, Herrera took one as well, didn't he, early in the season?
The feeling is that it's Matter, Rooney, then Herrera. But we will wait and see. Matter hasn't missed one yet. I think he's still operating. Van Gaal's still operating a system whereby if you miss a penalty, then you go to the back of the queue. So I don't know how far that queue is. But we're also in the midst of these fixtures. We're also in the midst of good fixtures for other teams. So we've already said about Newcastle. They're in it now. Sunderland away, Stoke at home, Bournemouth away, Leicester at home, Palace away. That's the next 5. I mean, that's great. That's another great run of fixtures. So investment there, yeah, definitely. Right. Leicester, we talked about Vardy. They've got great fixtures as well. And it goes on. Southampton as well. Bournemouth at home after they get Liverpool out of the way. After they run ragged at Liverpool, they got Bournemouth at home, Sunderland away, and Stoke at home. Yeah. And then the little matter of City. Southampton are not on paper now against City. If Company's not playing, I still fancy Southampton to score there. And then they got Villa at home. It doesn't. Some great fixtures there. So.
I think it's pretty clear that the front 3 is Vardy, Pella, and Lukaku from 11.
Yeah,
if you can get those 3.
On a pure fixtures point of view, that would be probably the ideal strike force.
But like Granville says, with fixtures, Lukaku's never a guarantee. So
no. But you could go cheaper. You could get kind of recommend Ayoze Perez at 5.1 million, 10 points. Yeah, he can make up your third strike. You don't need to play him every week.
No,
all those fixtures are good enough to play him every week.
Yeah,
or go for 5-man midfield and maybe rotate.
Yeah. No, and we haven't mentioned Arsenal in that, and I mean there was a question about which defenders to look at. I mean, Bellerin just looks electric at the moment, and I think what was significant is Wenger didn't rotate at Watford. It shocked me. A few weeks ago, we were looking at that Watford fixture going, that's a hot spot for rotation because they're going to need to get a result against Bayern, which they've done anyway, and they've done it by playing a full strength side against Watford. And that included Bellerin and Monreal. And I thought, looking at it, if I was Debuchy, I'd be going, well, I'm going to get that Watford game. That'll be my chance to impress because he's going to rest Bellerin for Bayern, and so I'll get my chance against Watford. And he didn't. He played Bellerin in that one as well, and he played Monreal instead of Gibbs. It looks like, I hesitate to say it, Wenger's prioritising the league and won't rotate. Is that what we think?
Well, he didn't rotate tonight either, but no, I think you're right. I think there's. I mean, it's clear Bellerin and Monreal are absolutely fantastic. There was a lot of discussion on the site on Friday night, which to get there was a couple of Monreal fans, one in particular, who was getting quite hot under the collar. People daring to get Bellerin instead. To be honest, though, I mean, there isn't really much between. Monreal actually came very close to bonus. Bellerin got the assist and Monreal didn't. So that would indicate that Monreal. And we've had some research by one of our writers, Inzi, about this before. Monreal really
He's ahead. Yeah, we looked at it.
He's very far ahead when it comes to this baseline bonus, which is basically the kind of not scoring or assisting bonus. So I think if someone's getting Monreal in, absolutely great. If you're getting Bellerin in, great. I mean, I think they're both very good options. Back in the days when people were getting Klein and Bertrand in, or Coleman and Baines in, there isn't much between them, I don't think.
There's not really. Would you go anywhere else with Arsenal? I mean, there's Walcott and there's Ozil, I guess.
Ozil.
The Ramsey injury might affect him actually. I mean, what they're going to play? Firmino or Arteta?
I mean, I think at the moment, having most people have got Sanchez. I've got Sanchez and an Arsenal defender. I'm happy with that for the time being. But yeah, I mean, there's certainly. I mean, the weird thing is like Giroud not starting, but he's scoring so much. He's really.
You're not going to get him, are you? You're not going to get a non-starter whether he scores or not.
I think Ozil's different matter. I mean, I'm looking at he's 8-4, so my hazard downgrade to Ozil. I mean, I'd be banking almost 3 million there and getting Ozil in. That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? To be able to get Ozil and get 3 million in the bank, but that's the reality of it because he's 8-4, which just seems strange. But I think I'm seriously looking at him. He's not a player I really like that much because he seems lackadaisical. He doesn't really seem to be offering much, but he's productive.
And I think
double-figure hauls last 2
games.
He
is. Yeah, and well, it's really assists. He won't really score you many goals, but it's a price as well. I mean, you think that Silva is what is he 10.5? Is he 10.5 season?
I'm just checking now what he is.
Sanchez would have come down a bit now.
Sanchez is 11.4, and Ozil is 3 million less at 8.4, which is wow. You know, when Ozil arrived, we were like, this guy's a heavyweight. This guy's a 10 million midfielder. We can pick him up now for 8.4, and we're sitting here going, maybe it. Yeah,
the thing is, it's like once you got Sanchez, you really want to go Ozil as well. That's the decision you need to make. You really want to be putting all the eggs.
Well, as someone who's doubled on the Swansea team, I'm quite happy doubling on Arsenal instead.
and Leicester.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Any other areas there to cover, John T?
No, I think that's. I mean, I've kind of packaged them up into those areas. The strikers definitely the area, and the fixture shift are definitely the key. The key points, I think, over the week.
Yeah, we're all getting ready for game week 11. That's the time it all flips. If only we had wild cards to play. Anyway, this game week then. So we look at our transfers. John T, do you want to go first and discuss the options?
Yeah, I mean, I've said Houlihan or Gomez. I'm either going to play Houlihan, not make a transfer, bank it, and I've got two for this massive fixture shift. 2 frees going. That's still an option, but I could. Even though I am, as you know, quite a boring fantasy football manager, I do like the idea of getting another striker in for Gomez. I'm looking at the likes of either Lukaku, Costa, Rooney, Bonny. I mean, there's all sorts. They haven't quite got the fixture this week, but I might be tempted.
Captain, what are you going for there, John?
It's between Vardy and Sanchez. I'm going to do a bit of research into their defences, but it'll be one of those two, and whichever isn't, will be my vice captain. But
over to you, Granville.
I don't think I'm going to make a move. I think I'm going to keep it as I've gone now. I think I don't know what I'd do, honestly. The front three could be interchanged with Vardy or Bonny. One that Pella or Marshall could go, but I think I'm gonna just stick. I think and save the transfer for the next game week.
Yeah, well, we're game week 11 approaching. I mean, there isn't really any apparent weakness in the team, really. Coutinho's probably the only one you're thinking about, but they're at home, aren't they, to Southampton?
Well, that's the thing, and Southampton are conceding. They do concede goals, so I'd be reluctant to get rid of him. And who would I get? I could get Ozil. He'd be a bit of a differential, and then De Bruyne. Don't want to get him really against United. I'd be looking at him the following week when the fixtures turn. They play Norwich, because I think that's going to be a fruitful game for City. It normally is, and Norwich is conceding loads of goals.
And captain, who are you going with?
Probably Sanchez.
Yeah,
Sanchez.
No risk taking. You don't need to take risks where you are. You're doing all right. Well,
I did take a risk this week, captaining Pele. That's why I'm sort of kicking myself. I thought, why do I need to take a risk? Why don't? Because it was. I mean, I know he had the form and everything, but I wouldn't normally captain him. And I think it was just the fact that he was a new, as a player, and everyone was talking about him. So I captained him over Sanchez. But there you go.
So myself, I'm probably going to keep Hazard. I'm going to gamble on him playing at West Ham. I mean, if Hazard doesn't turn up, he may come off the bench. I think even if he doesn't start him, he's going to have to call on him, because I think West Ham are going to score, and Chelsea can't afford to draw matches, can they? I mean, Mourinho's not conceding the league. He's got to go for 3 points every week. So if you've got to get 3 points at West Ham, I think you've got to play Hazard. So I'm hoping he does. So if I do that, I may just sit where I am, because Kolarov being fit tonight and playing tomorrow, if he gets through that unscathed, I've got Zuma away at West Ham, Richards at home to Swansea, and Kolarov at United. Not brilliant. I could get Elphick and Gomez out for Alberto Moreno, but they're at home to Southampton. That's all I can afford, really. I can't really afford, until I get rid of Hazard or Ayew or Gomez, I can't afford any decent defenders. So I will either bank it or make it.
If one of your defenders doesn't start, then you.
Well, who wouldn't start?
You're short. Well, if Kolarov doesn't start, or Zuma, I don't know. You never know.
Zuma, I mean, again, I think they need him at West Ham. I think they've got to have him. I mean, the Carroll threat is going to be a problem to him. it's going to be a very interesting game, that, because I think he'll start Andy Carroll against Chelsea. I would if I was Billy.
What about someone like Yanmat or something? You know, one of these kind of cheaper. Just get a better cheap defender.
I can't afford Yanmat. I've got 1 million in.
Right.
No. So Elphick and Gomez. All I can afford is Moreno. Who I do want Moreno long term. So I may get him in and start him, or at least have him on the bench to come on if one of my defence don't play. So that probably be my option. Captain wise, it's going to be Sanchez or Vardy. It's boring, but I think that's the way it looks. Yeah, if Hazard was certain to play, I would gamble on him again, because I do think that Marino was trying to put a rocket up and it might work.
I can't believe we're talking about that. If you know, he was going to start Hazard.
I know, it's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Insane.
You know, he was like the top scorer. Was he the top scorer last season?
Yeah.
You're the reverse Moreno. You've got too much faith in him.
I don't know what's going on.
No faith in him.
It's a crazy season. Marino is just, I don't know. It's too far to say he's lost the plot, but it is very entertaining every week what he's going to say next. He's taken to remaining tight-lipped. That's probably the best, because it's just everything he says is confusing me at the moment. I'm suspicious of him all the time anyway, but this season it's crazy. So anyway, bless him. He's entertaining, and he's ruining my season, but I'm not going to hold it against him. Thank you very much, John T and Granville, for an entertaining Scoutcast. Yahoo, if you're listening, I hope we didn't offend you by taking fantasy football seriously. Team Fuzzy, it's a good night for me.
Good night.
And good night from me.
Good night.